u la mea ama kui heva ach ama. To be entangled in that which is unnatural, now I rise, exposed and brilliant, finally, and to penetrate an illusion, finally, finally. Lahui! So good to be with you today for this reunion of sorts for Ulu and for our continued exploration into the artistry of Ulu. As is our protocol, I would love to guide us through the process of kulike to ensure that we are all gathered together so that we can open our ivikua mo'o up and make these extractions, excavations, explorations. The first thing that we may do in kulike is we may choose to land. Land. When I feel into landing, I'm removing myself of fixations of a past and cravings for a future. I deem this current moment sufficient. For me, there is nothing more interesting than this current moment. At my huelo, my tailbone, I feel that very generous tug. This tug, also known as ute taumaha, sacred gravity, is connecting me to the iron crystal core of this planet, the inner earth waters. I remember that my relationship with the inner earth waters and with gravity itself is not a punishment, nor is it an imprisonment. I remember this has been designed in mutual consent, and we are the engineers. Let's land. Only in this landing can we make contact with these energy centers. I'll ask that we lift our right hand. In lifting our right hand, we are in recognition of thoracic vertebrae, the 12 actions, uhane. Let's restore uhane to its rightful throne, that of the pu'uvai. Let's place this right hand over our heart. Let's you and I take a deep breath in through the nose and hold. Holding this breath, applying this oxygen in the pu'uvai. Let's fill this chamber with oxygen. Let's enliven the 12 actions. And exhale through the mouth. In this exhalation, feeling the relaxation of the 12 actions, the relaxation of the internal masculine, removed of competition, comparisons, urgency and belligerency, restored as the hero. Here in the pu'uvai, I offer a mantra of our hero. Pa vale pu'uvai. I open my heart wider. Mahalo. Uhane. Thoracic vertebrae, I love you. Keeping our right hand over our pu'uvai, let's now make contact with Unihipili, internal, feminine, coccyx, sacral, lumbar. Let's lift our left hand. Let's restore Unihipili to its rightful throne, that of the Na'au. Let's place that left hand over our sacral. Let's you and I take a deep breath in through the nose and hold. Holding this breath, applying this oxygen in the Unihipili vertebrae, coccyx, sacral, lumbar, the three within the three. Apply oxygen to our feminine energetics. Sip one more breath. And exhale through the mouth. In this exhalation, feeling the proliferation of the internal feminine, removed of censorship, neglect, condemnation, non-essential sacrifice, restored as the leader. Here in the Na'au, the three within the three, coccyx, sacral, lumbar, we offer a mantra of our Unihipili. Uamalu. I'm safe. I decide. Mahalo. Unihipili, coccyx, sacral, lumbar. I love you. And now that our hands are in the proper position known as kulike, a moment to enjoy this right relation of the coccyx, sacral, lumbar, thoracic, the leader and the hero, the noun and the verb. Lahui, there is recognition that the right relation of the Unihipili and the Uhane is the exalted seven of the cervical vertebrae Auma Kua. We honor this kulike by uttering 3 times. Aloha ma, aloha ma, aloha ma. Mahalo. Of course, aloha ma is self-reflective love. You talk about circumnavigations. You talk about closing a circuit. It's aloha ma, self-reflective love. We have with us, of course, Kapohi Nano Kau Ikalai. By the way, how many of you have now mastered her name? I think we need a ceremony just to practice your name. Kapohi Nano Kau Ikalai. Aloha tita.
Aloha. It is so beautiful when people try and they keep trying, and it's so beautiful. I'm so grateful. My whole life I've always kind of stopped using my Hawaiian name because I didn't like that people would falter on it. And I'm like, but if I don't try and we don't hold oma'a and we don't practice, then how will they ever learn? So here we are learning together. And I hope that I can get all of your names right as well. And if I ever don't get it properly, please always bring me back to my piko. Aloha, everyone. It's so beautiful to see all of you here. Look at that. How many people? 151. Amen. Eh? So beautiful. Thank you so much for being present today and showing your beautiful faces and being rooted and grounded. I'm going to go through the tones just to kind of anchor us in. Keoni, of course, brother, guided us through kulike. So let's complete that circuit. Allow your spine to be erect, your iwi kuomo'o, that lights all the codes, the DNA, the memories of our ancient past, present, and future. Everything is already within us. Let it activate by unlocking, plugging in, and then ground. Iwi kuomo'o, this dragon bone of succession that goes up and down to the oscillation of the idiwai, the human essential oil. As I chant the tones and the incantations up the spine, just imagine each vertebrae opening up, unlocking, and then plugging in so that when we ground it to Haumea, to Mama, to this iron crystal core, there is no abruptions within the chain and the information can flow through us as conduits. So our mycelium network can reach out to everyone in equal measure. And our vibration and frequency can be in alignment with the earth resonance in our remembrance. If you can cleave the tongue to the roof of your mouth, say the tones in your head. I welcome that space. Squeeze the perineum to allow the oscillation to flow through you. Take a deep breath in and release. Journey with me now. Kaluko hale on hiva imi kumashe graesh unja hesh. Jotkolampat se nutresh vo imanut. Gesto ut hex ama ra. Take a deep breath in. As I plug in, let's take it slow. Ka, lu, ko, ha, li, on, he, va, I, mi, ku, ma, she, gra, ish, um, un, ja, hesh, jut, gol, pa, se, nut, resh, vo, s, imanut, gestout, hex, ama, ra. As we anchored into Mama, we reverse huli hoi. Ra, ama, hex, geestut, imanut. Vo, resh, nut, se, pa, gorjut, hesh, ja, gra, she, makumi, I, va, hi, on, li, ha, ko, lu, ka. Allow the roots to seep down into the inner earth waters, rooting you, calling in our guides and our ancestors to help activate the remembrance that is deep within us through the activations of each tone of the spine. Kaya toya mea eats on parat ula mea amma. Amma kuiheva amma at amma. To be entangled in that of which is unnatural. Now I rise, exposed and brilliant, finally, and to penetrate an illusion, finally, finally. Mahalo, everyone, for being in this beautiful space together to share, to unlock our spines. I just wanted to kind of share a little bit of my internal journey with the tones, with my activations, with this remembrance. Since working with all of you for 5 months, when what you seek is seeking you. And I was telling brother, I've been on this beautiful journey of my own lineage and kind of establishing different parts of myself through remembering what my ancestors did. And the synchronicities, the alignment, me with my numbers, to see the journey that it has brought me to and that it has taken me on is just so, it's just so magical and delicious. And after the 5-month series, I've been tracing my lineage and my ancestors back to Hawaii, the base. Of course, Maui, the heart, Oahu, the throat, and now Kauai in the third eye. And it feels as if it's this journey through the spinal column of remembrance, right? Going into the roots, uprooting all the things that have been holding me and my ancestors in the frequency of shame, guilt, and kind of sitting me there in the base and looking around and seeing those parts of myself that needs to be activated. Of course, going into Maui and feeling the heart open to potential and the possibilities, allowing me to sit in Oahu, using my voice, using my leo that I've siphoned so many times and held back because of fear, because of shame, all of the things that held me from speaking. And then I just came back from Kauai, popping open the pineal gland. So it's literally this oscillation and this memory that I'm going through in the macro to the microcosm of the internal body to the external experience of what Hawaii has to offer us. And I'm just so honored and so grateful. The beautiful show, Chief of War, that has come out is the story of Kaiana, and Kaiana's brother is Nahiolea, which is my great grandfather 8 times removed. And the fact that it's coming in at this exact moment is just showing that I'm in alignment in the remembrance. My beautiful Tita, who I haven't talked for in years, she just had a new baby. And she texts me, she goes, his name is Nahiolea, da 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 da. I'm like, are you kidding me? Where did that come from? And it's just like, of all the names she could have chose for her son, it's Nahiolea. And to me, that's the fire that gets to dance and be bright and to shine. So permeating the heart light, that corazon, that pu'uvai. And as we shine and as we radiate, um, it will start to be reflected back to us within this remembrance. And so it's just been so juicy to be a part of it. And I hope that all of you have been on this beautiful, incredible journey of remembrance. As I went to Kauai, I was with these beautiful women who were all, they went through their maiden, they went through the mother, and now they're like in the in between the mother into the crone, but they're like, I'm in my goddess phase. And they're honoring like that they have different sexual desires that they want to explore, that they don't want to be rigid, and they're in raw authenticity to the max, where it was like so beautiful to witness my sisters in liberation. And so as we anchor in our remembrance of the Unihipili and what she is here to invoke within us, let the goddess within all of us, male and female, rise. Mahalo. Aloha ma.
Mahalo, Tita. Yeah, I love this, bringing forth some of the evidence of how you have integrated our journey with Ulu, correlating it to just sort of the life to which is not just presenting itself to you, but also that you begin to cultivate too with this mana'o, with this ike. And I just want to share that many of us have been on the journey from the very beginning together, but not all of us. Some of you are quite new. This may actually be your very first ceremony that you're joining with us. So, just a reminder that you can go into the members portal and start the journey because there's a section called the Hall of Replays. And you can start all the way from the beginning and then work your way up to where we are now. Because what I'm going to be doing moving forward is I'm going to do a lot of refinement. So I introduced a lot to everyone. Me and Kopo Hinano, we introduced a lot. Now I'm going to be refining what I introduced. So, we're going into the mastery of a lot of, specifically with the codes. And the 33 vertebrae, remember, has 33 unique codes. The 33 codes of the vertebrae are all codes of how to properly materialize. Before we can spiritualize, we must first materialize. That's even rational. And I'm really glad to be doing this within the spiritual community because that is one of, I would say, the greatest defects of the spiritual community is this ejecting from the body and wanting only to be available for spiritualization. And, just to sort of bring us into the rationale of that is spiritualization cannot even exist without materialization. It in itself is a protocol. And so when we come into the fluency of the Iwikuamo of the spinal cord and the 33 codes within the spinal cord, we can complete the materialization. It is my belief that an inability to complete the materialization results in what has been known as reincarnation. And one thing I want to share about reincarnation, specifically with modern Hawaiian culture and ancient Hawaiian and Mu culture, is there is absolutely no mention of reincarnation, you guys, which means this likely could be a modern thing. Perhaps because we have been ejecting the physical body rather than completing it. I'm reminded of the words of that prophet known as Jesus on the cross, Tetelestai, which means it is finished. It is accomplished. And so me offering once again the activation of the Iwi Kuomo unto all of us, and then you will go into your own huakai or your own saga, your own journey, just like Kapua Hinana Koikala you just shared about, wow, what does it mean for me specifically to come into proper materialization so that I can complete it, I can finish it. And so, those of you who are joining us for the first time, we are so happy that you're with us. Thank you so much. There may be only 150 something on right now, but we're a cohort of over 10,000 people. And, that just gives me so much joy knowing that there's really 10,000 of us who are at least contemplating the process of proper materialization so that If you, like me, perceive that the universe in itself is saying, I want to complete. I know for sure the Earth is saying that. I know for sure the Earth is saying, I want to be a sacred planet. Those of you who may be versed in what is known as exoteric astrology know that Earth is considered a non-sacred planet, non-sacred. I believe that the moment it completes itself, it becomes a sacred planet. That means that from the micro to the macro, everything must be available for a completion. For today, I want to focus on the Hoi. The Hoi is the invocation to which we speak in order to enliven, activate the Ivi Kuomo, the spinal cord. There are three incantations. One for coccyx, sacral, lumbar, Unihipili vertebrae, the three within the three. That's what we're going to focus on today, is the goddess. Just as Kopua Hinano was sharing. I don't mean to like be a little doom and gloom right now, but you guys, the goddess is in a crisis right now. It's in a crisis. We need to show up for the goddess right now. Okay. And I'll be offering us some pieces, some mana'o, some ike that can support all of us in reorienting back into the goddess within so that we can enliven that once again. What I'll be doing in maybe a couple weeks is we'll be focusing on the uhane, the thoracic, the masculine incantation. And then after that, we'll explore cervical vertebrae. Remember, cervical vertebrae, what's so unique about cervical vertebrae, aumakua, the holistic self, is it's not just in the neck, it encompasses the skull. So all the brain glands and masses, pineal, pituitary, claustrum, thalamus, hypothalamus, all of that. We get to come into proper fluency of that. So you know how to not just access it, you know how to be at the helm of it, to lead all of that that's happening, which culminates to this invisible thing that's hovering 3 inches above the head, you guys. That's the actual official location of Aumakua. It's your androgynous holistic self. And I love the symbolism of that because that which is hovering just 3 inches above the head, it's actually what's keeping us up. Because we are working with this thing called gravity, Ute Taumaha. And, as we go further into refinement of all of this, we're also going to be refining gravity. You guys, it's the only thing that's atemporal. Atemporal means not governed by time. Like that was like a pun too, Anyway. But it's this thing that's just holding us up so that we can engage with gravity and still remain buoyant. Okay, we're not being destroyed. We're not disappearing altogether until the proper completion event. So today, I want to focus on you and I just having a conversation about, wow, what exactly are we doing when we're doing the Hoi, the incantation and invocation of the feminine, of the coccyx, the sacral, the lumbar. In the replays, right, there is a ceremony where Kapuhi Nanakoi Kala'i and I introduced the three invocations, the Hoi. And so you might want to revisit that just to get, maybe a reminder, or if it's for the first time that you're hearing about this, to get an idea of what that flow is like. And just for the sake of having your attention right now, I'm going to show you. Feel free to do it with me if you want, but I'm going to show you, okay? The invocation of the Ivi Kuomo of the spinal cord is first in Unihipili. It's a sound that's spelled as HXE. I'm going to do a ka'avali with you guys before we end today's ceremony of the symbolism of even that HXE, okay? But the sound is, you want to take your tongue, put your tongue to the upper end of your throat, okay? And then you want to propel the sound. Propel. I like to take my hands and place them on my sacral Because with the propelling, your sacral, your abdomen is going to push out because you want to focus that energy right there in the three within the three. It is not to be uttered anywhere else in the body, but right there in your sacral, your unihipili. So take your hands, place them on your sacral, and just play with this. Yeah, propel. When we incorporate the actual la'alima or the mudra using our hands in relation to the sound of this gives a deeper meaning of exactly what we're doing, okay? And the la'alima would be take our left hand as a bowl right there in the sacral area. It's a bowl, okay? We take our right hand and we're scooping and we're flinging. Observe. This already gives us an idea of exactly what unihipili, what feminine energy is doing. It's literally cleaning house. You and I, we exist in a world where it's all based in contrast and variation, which means there's also a high potential of us becoming contaminated. There's a lot of fucking pollution out there. It's the feminine that cleans that and purifies, not the masculine. If we put that responsibility on the masculine, we're gonna end up with a lot of entity possessions because it's gonna take a lot of shit in, but it doesn't know how to purify. It doesn't know how to expel. The feminine knows how to expel. And when we go into the glands, the specific glands to which the feminine governs that are in relation to the coccyx, the sacral, and the lumbar, that will also give us some idea of the power of the feminine in correlation to purification specifically, okay? Now, and this is just me doing a demo, right? When we go to the uhane, to the masculine, it's T-A-Y, it's you want to feel your chest propel forward. With the la'alima, with the actual mudra, is, your hand, let it hover 3 to 6 inches in front of your chest. And when you utter the hoi of uhane, you want your chest to meet your hands, not your hands meeting your chest. Your chest must meet the hands. So, yeah, it's like being resuscitated. And when we go into the actual mechanics of the heart, we'll come into understanding that there's a front and the back of the heart. What many of us are unaware of is that the back of our hearts are completely calcified. The back of the heart is our ability to receive. The front of our heart is the ability to give, and that's very patriarchal, just giving, right? It becomes arrogant. I know best. I must do everything. I'm now burdened. I'm resentful. Because the back of our heart is calcified, we don't know how to receive. And specifically with Unihipili in relation to Uhane, we're not receiving our goddess. That's very problematic. And so as we decalcify the back of the heart, because even feel when we do that, right? When you meet your hands, you can feel the cracking in the back of the heart. Yeah, we want that. And a disclaimer. Some of us have spinal cord injuries. Some of us may be in actual paralysis. So instead of actually doing movements, it's all about focusing. Just like Kapua Hinana was sharing, right? Take your tongue, put it at the top of the palate, and then with your perineum, right? Focus those two ends, and then focus the energy. Let them come to wherever you're conjuring. So if you cannot move, if there's spinal injuries, if some of us are in paralysis, like physical paralysis, that doesn't disqualify you from ulu at all. It's going to come to how you can focus the energy. Okay. And with aumakua, remember I was sharing 3 inches above the head, right? 3 inches. There's this invisible string that's holding us up. With aumakua, it's a simple HA. Notice, see the behavior of my body. Yeah, I'm dropping. Okay, surrender. It's called relief. Relief. Relief and release. When we come to our androgynous holistic self, coming into such incredible power, right, that we just release. And so the la'alima with aumakua would be taking our hands, I would say slightly to the back. Just like, you guys, what is a giddy giddy called? You guys, the giddy giddy. You know, the little swirl on your head, right? Start there and then scrape, 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 and then release. Yeah. And so that would be a proper oscillation. Let me do it on the side so you can see this too. The body position and posture is this. Unihipili, erect. Uhane, arch. Aumakua, relax. Erect, arch, relax. Ooh, you feel that? Erect, arch, relax. Erect, arch, relax. The la'alima is not always required. It's just helpful, right? Especially when we do the la'alima, we're like, oh, I get an idea of what is happening. It's not required. For some of us, we feel that it's most beneficial with our hands just placed, palms facing up on our knees, and erect, arch, relax. What the Hoe is doing is we're creating the po'ai. The po'ai is our actual aura. That's the best way I can translate what po'ai is. It's our atmosphere. You know, like our planet has an atmosphere, right? And then the atmosphere is so beautiful, and it determines the presence of an atmosphere tells us that we have a magnetic grid, we have a magnetic field. Yeah, the human beings are the same thing. We are a point of gravity within ourselves. We have a magnetic field, which means we have an atmosphere. And so when we do the Hoe, we're invigorating the 33 vertebrae in those 3 sections. We're cultivating the aura. We're extending the aura so that we can be held, because when we go into ulu, when we go into designs, sometimes, oftentimes going beyond 60 minutes, we're held in that process. Okay? So the Hoe is what precedes an official ulu design or practice. We want to cultivate, invigorate the iwi kuamo, the spinal cord, and then also cultivate that atmosphere, that aura, so that we're being held in our practice. Especially because, as you know, the practices can go for long durations of time. Okay, that's how we can withstand the physical requirements for that, is we're being held, we're buoyant. We become more limber when we're buoyant, when we're held. It's like being in like jello, right? Your body's in jello. It's like, yeah, now we can really move fluidly, sensually, because we've cultivated our atmosphere. So once again, if you want a refresher of that, there is a replay in the members portal called the Hoe. And then you can visit that to fine tune the basics. Today, we're gonna refine exactly what's happening when we're in the Unihipili. And on an aside, in addition, it can be difficult. The but once you get it, you got it, brah. E ho'o ma'a ma'a. Just keep playing with it. Play with it. Sometimes it's like a cat hissing, right? Yeah, but make sure there's a propulsion. Yeah. And remember, you want to feel that in the actual sacral area. You want your abdomen, your stomach to propel. That's when you know you're doing it properly because you're focusing all the energy there. That's where we want to do that purification. So I do want to bring up a slides, because I want to give us more context as to what exactly is this and the Unihipili incantation. Before I do that, kapui nana kauikalai, is there anything you feel like you want to add or share before we go into some of the slides here?
You're always so thorough, brother. I'm just so excited to kind of revisit this for my own um remembrance. But yeah, when you say that, really just visualizing that sweeping and removing anything that's in your bowl of light, removing okiing all of the stones that are anchoring us down into the physical, the heavy metals, the density, so that the light can fill it, and with the light becomes that buoyancy.
Beautiful. Yeah, sister. Thank you for sharing that. Kopuhi nano. Sabine, thank you for sharing in the comments. We are activating, charging up the electromagnetic field of our spiritual etheric body to support the organic body. Yes, most certainly. We're actually coming into proper materialization, accessing and resourcing all the materials to which we have access to, right? And then also, I want to address the comment that Jenny shared. Can a beginner practicing the Hoi start to have things come up for clearing, etc., even before Ulu? Absolutely. In fact, oftentimes just the Hoi can be considered a legitimate Ulu practice. For some of us, we may just do that for an hour straight. And that will most certainly bring up the things that need to be brought to the surface so that we can address them. And I always share, with Ulu, and I believe that this goes for so many of the somatic or the body practices, but, it's not always comfortable, you guys. It's going to bring up some shit in order for us to address it properly. For instance, in the Unihipili, right, purifying, it's all about purifying. So it's going to bring to our attention a lot of the things that are polluting and corrupting us, all of our addictions. And I don't know about you, but I was an opiate addict. So I know a couple things about addiction is that they become our friends. It's what we find comfort in. And it's going to be really uncomfortable when that comes to the surface and says, like, this needs to be reconciled. Like, shit. But that's the goddess doing its work. It's saying we must affirm ourselves as the oracle. And we all know what an oracle is. It's something that channels divine information, knowledge. You can't be a proper oracle if you're corrupted. And so the goddess is saying we need to purify so that we can be that clear channel once again. And so things are going to surface and say we need to address this. And so for some of us, sure. And if that's your journey, and maybe even this has been some people's journey since we began all these months ago, is that you're just focusing on the Hoi. I would say perfect. Great. Yes, just focus on the Hoi. Let that be your practice as long as you want it to be. So thank you for sharing that, Jenny, because that is something really important to address. All right, I want to bring up my screen so we can go into the deeper meaning, the symbolism of what is. Sure. Sis, can you see this? Okay, great. Okay, so the Unihipili vertebrae, coccyx, sacral, lumbar, it's the three within the three. And the invocation that stimulates, invigorates, and honors the three within the three is HXE. This sound, as we thunder this sound through the three within the three, the coccyx, the sacral, the lumbar, we awaken the goddess. We bring the goddess out of slumber. We bring the goddess out of scrutiny. Okay? And here's what I want to share about the codes, because this is the Mu dialect, by the way. HXE is the Mu dialect. And modern Hawaiian is a result of the Mu dialect. And there's something really unique about when we modernize this word, HXE, when we modernize it to modern Hawaiian, something very compelling happens. I don't know if any of you have done this yet. You've taken HXE, because X is an ancient letter, a symbol. In Mu dialect, it's not found in modern Hawaiian. And so we need to do some replacing, some revisions in order for it to become modern in the modern Hawaiian language. So HXE, this is how we would do it. We take the X, and the X would be transferable as E, but because there's an X, we have to also add what we call an okina. It's an apostrophe. The result is H-E, okina E, he'e. He'e. The hidden code of the goddess is the octopus. Now, I mean, we could do a whole ceremony on the symbolism of this alone, but I'm just gonna speed us through this. The presence of the he'e in correlation to the feminine is so important. It has a lot to do with mitochondria, because the octopus is believed to be the only species that has survived from the previous universe, which means the octopus holds the codes of legacy and lineage. This tells us that when we utter and we honor the goddess, we're honoring legacy and lineage, you guys. And then that correlates, of course, to mitochondria, because it is through our mother that we receive legacy and lineage, because only female mitochondria is transferable. Gendered men, we have mitochondria, of course we do, and it's in our sperm, but it's not as transferable as the mitochondria that a mother will pass to her offspring. And so any of us who are human beings with DNA, our mitochondria was actually received from our mother. And so the presence of the octopus as a hidden message within this incantation of the Unihipili tells us that it is the goddess that is the one that affirms lineage and legacy. Why is this an important conversation right now? Because we seem to be at a precipice where we're kind of fucking up with fertility, you guys. We're kind of messing it up. It's called transhumanism. And if we decide as a collective to progress into the seduction and the allure of transhumanism, we will extinguish the goddess. We will extinguish the goddess. Lineage and legacy will collapse, and it will not be transferable. And so, the code of the octopus and the code of human beings right now, it will not be transferable. This is a crisis. This is an organic human crisis, and it comes at the cost of the complete collapse of the goddess. Okay? I know it's pretty sobering, but here we are. Now, I want to kind of bring you all with me in how I started to connect all these dots, right? And I love, if any of you have worked with any elders, I don't think it's just Hawaiian elders. I think it's any kind of indigenous elders. They speak to you in riddles. It's so stimulating, you guys. It's my jam. I'm very Aquarius Scorpionic. I love riddles. I love the things that are cryptic. And so, of course, naturally, I was able to communicate with the kupuna, with the elders, because all they do is speak in riddles. And so I really love connecting all these dots that may not be obvious. But of course, one of the codes of conduct is in plain sight, right? It's all there. It's all accessible. We just have to be able to speak metaphorically. That's why my kupuna would say, before you learn how to speak, you must first remember how to be a poet. A poet. We have to ka'avale. We have to unravel all these pieces and then put them back together so that we can understand what the actual narrative is, and thus also the trajectory. And so my journey began with this fern called kihi fern. Um, Many of you know that that's one of my primary medicines that I've received from my lineage is Pua Ihu Ihu fern medicine. This fern kihi was believed to be completely extinct up until a few years ago. Completely extinct. And now it's showing up everywhere. So it definitely has something to say, right? It's showing up everywhere. Believed to be extinct. Its time is now. Its time is now. Kihi, this fern, holds the codes of pandemonium, emotional pandemonium. I'm going to speed through this, you guys, but pandemonium truly means quantum leaps. Quantum leaps. The resurgence of kihi fern means that, okay, we're all in a quantum leap. That's it. We're in a quantum leap. So what is the quantum leap, right? That would be maybe the question you have. At least that was the question I had. I'm like, okay, quantum leap. Well, what is the quantum leap? So the way I found the quantum leap, the code of the quantum leap, is I took the scientific name of this fern and I translated that. As simple as that. It's all coded. The scientific name of kihi fern, which is only found in Hawaii, by the way, kihi fern is Adenophorus periens. Adenophorus periens. The translation of that literally means the glands perish. The end of the glands. So, my next question and inquiry is humanity in a mutation? And is the mutation a dehydration of human glands? And you guys know what glands are, right? They secrete hormones. Hormones. The secretion of elixirs within the body, pineal pituitary gland, secretes the necessary essential oil that is meant to coat the spinal cord so that the spinal cord can do the extractions. We can go into akasha only when the pineal and the pituitary make the secretions. If we do not have secretions of the pineal and the pituitary gland that passes through the claustrum, the iwi kua mo'o will always be in a kind of dormancy. And so now, this is alarming. The end of the glands, the perishing of the glands. Then I'm like, is this just what it is? Is humanity, are we mutating that we don't need the glands? That's the positive, right? Kind of like perspective. It's like, oh, cool. Maybe the glands are mutating because the human body is mutating that we don't need the glands. And I'm also reminded of the agenda of transhumanism, of mechanizing the body. And I'm like, shit. If we didn't have transhumanism here present with us, I would definitely have gone straight to, yay, we're crystalline, we're mutating, all of that. It's like, great, glands are completing itself. But because of the presence of transhumanism, I'm like, man, does it mean we're going into transhumanism? And that is the quantum leap. And so this is what brought me to the importance of us also needing to address the glands within the human body as we invigorate the iwi kua mo'o, the spinal cord. If we are to come into a place where we're going to complete and mutate the physical body where we don't need the glands, great. Then doing something like ulu and ensuring that we are participating in the completion of the glands is definitely recommended. On the flip side, and in addition, if it is because of transhumanism that the glands are going to be disrupted and defiled altogether, well then even better for us to be an ulu and attend to our personal glands so that we can remain as organic as possible, even in the face of the futility that is being presented to us with transhumanism. So, this is a depiction of the glands that course up and down our physical body. And this is just giving you an idea of what glands may correlate to what section within the iwi kua mo'o, the spinal cord. This depiction I chose because I want to give an emphasis on the testes and the ovaries, which is the gonads. Those are human glands that secrete specific hormones. Of course, with the testes and the ovaries, it's fertility. It's fertility. This tells us that in order for us to maintain and honor the energy of the goddess, we must preserve fertility upon the earth. Natural fertility must be preserved and celebrated upon the earth in order for us to ensure that the goddess remains present. Once the gonads become dismissed, we've just defiled the goddess. Those of you who are, track timelines here on Earth, you know that the last truly feminine age that we've experienced is this age known as Taurus. And the age of Taurus was all about fertility. It was all about fertility. It was the bull cults. It was all about honoring fertility. And so you and I coming into proper fluency and honoring of ourselves as regenerative organic beings with the capacity of fertility is so important. And so when you utter, that propulsion I was telling you about, that you're feeling, also know that you are invigorating the gonads, your skill of fertility. And for some of us, we may not have those. Like I know many women who've, had the ovaries removed. I know some men who've had the testes removed. This doesn't mean that you're now disqualified from being able to invigorate that within yourself, right? It's all about energetics as well. And so never, never feel disqualified from this. As we do and we're invigorating the goddess, we are invigorating and enlivening the gonads. If your gonads are not present within your physical body, you can still honor them. It is still something that you can contribute to the field of the perpetuation of the organic human. The other gland that I want to address in relation to the Unihipili, the coccyx, the sacral, the lumbar, is this thing known as the pancreas, which is actually at the very top of the lumbar right before it transitions into thoracic vertebrae, which also means like, wow, this is something that the feminine, seems as if the feminine is offering to the masculine. The moment that the rib cage begins, that's thoracic vertebrae, that's masculine energy, of course, and we discussed the symbolism of that, right? The rib cage represents infrastructure. Yeah, that's masculine energy. It knows how to build infrastructure. That's why it's also determined to be the protector, because of the artistry to which it creates, right? Can be methods of protection as well. Sometimes methods of protection is also about you being clear of who you are, based upon the artistry to which you produce for the world and offer as a contribution. That's a method of protection, because now there's no confusion as to who you are. My kupuna would always say this about me and to me. They would say, be so clear that there is no room for any confusion. It's very masculine energetic to be able to be precise like that. Precision. That's why masculine energy also has a lot to do with precision and our ability to be precise. But we have here the pancreas. So a friend of mine that I feel everyone knows, Matthias De Stefano, he suggests that the pancreas is the actual hub of love. The energy of love is actually found in the pancreas. And I really love that, because it suggests that it's the feminine, right? It's the goddess that holds the code of love. And then I followed that breadcrumb and I'm like, no wonder she purifies, because she has to ensure that love is always uncorrupt. No wonder she's constantly purifying, right? I love how brave the goddess is. The goddess doesn't hide. The goddess doesn't go into the house and shut the blinds and say like, I had it with the world. No, the goddess is accessible. That's why goddess energy is community. But as she's navigating the world with all the contrast and the potential corruption, she's constantly purifying. And so just know that when you are engaging in the Hoe of Unihipili, there's also this potential that we are preserving the purity of love itself, at least according to Brother Matthias. But we can even feel, right, the pancreas, the function of the pancreas is, and I wrote it like this, hormonic and harmonic. Filtration. Yeah, it filters. The pancreas filters, which gives more sort of flavor to what the Unihipili is doing, what we're doing in our goddess energy, how we're purifying, purifying. Yeah, because even the pancreas, that's its actual function in the physical body. The purpose for me wanting to share this with you is because I really want everyone to know exactly what is happening when we are honoring these hoi, these incantations. Feminine, everything to which I'm sharing right now. In a couple weeks, we'll go into uhane and masculine. There's the thymus gland. We have a lot of things to say about the thymus and exactly what is happening when we are honoring the hoi of the uhane. We're coming into absolute fluency of what is happening and how we are participating with the mechanics of our body, you guys. Proper materialization, which will then qualify us for spiritualization, because I personally believe it is a criteria that must be met. If not, there would not be this thing called reincarnation, where people are having to repeat because they're not able to complete. And so following these codes, 33 vertebrae, in tandem with the content to which I'm sharing now, the other symbolisms with these parts of our body, these material aspects within us, will support all of us to come into authority in addition to our fluency of the process of our materialization. I'm going to take my screen off now. Mahalo, thank you, you guys. And I know that was a super data dump. And, I wanted to be as succinct and then as direct as possible rather than going into story. But after this, right? After this ceremony, if you want to go into story, go for it. Because we can definitely take the concepts and the content to which I just presented, and you can just open that up because you're gonna go into a rabbit hole, brah. And if that's what you want to do, I would say do it. Do it, because it's your path. This is your fluency that you're working with. And oftentimes I say when I do ceremonies like this, I don't want to give too much definition to things. And sometimes I can come off, maybe that's the Aquarius in me, I can come off as like clinical, right? Robotic. I'm just like giving information and then peace, like have fun. Because I don't want to give you guys a story. So if you want to go into story, I would definitely encourage you, if that's even a way to which you process something. But to recap the essentials of what I just shared, the feminine hoi of the hidden message in is he'e, is octopus, which means legacy and lineage. The goddess determines legacy and lineage. And ensuring that the goddess remains enlivened, honored, will ensure that we continue the legacy and the lineage of the succession of universes. I'm always like feeling into like, are we really gonna be the ones to disrupt that? Like, oh, are we really gonna be the ones that it's innumerable, the universes, the succession of universes, and now right comes to the custodianship of the humans, and we're like, how can I fuck it up? So let's not fuck it up. But I also am being very diplomatic in sharing with everyone, perhaps there's a dehydration with the glands because we are naturally coming into a mutation where the glands are not needed anymore. That's a possibility. But because of the presence of transhumanism in our planet, in our world right now, there is another potential that we may be disrupting and defiling the power of the glands. Knowing that we have both of these dangling before us, for me, the most diplomatic thing to do is, well, I'm just going to honor the glands then. I'm just going to honor them, because if they are coming to a completion, then I should participate in its completion. We start a ceremony that begins today, forever and ever now. The ceremony of loving the body, of loving the glands, of loving every aspect of us, coming into fluency of your spinal cord with the intention of completing it. And so as we begin to love the body, let go. the earth will be left to no one. We must also remember to let go, right? And that's like the trickery, perhaps. It's like, wow, this is really, really confusing. Love it so much, but I can't treat it as a possession? No, no. Let it complete itself. Kapua hina no kawi kalai. Is there anything you want you want to share, sister?
Every time I'm just like, and I feel like that's the contrast of life, right? It's like we're at this precipice of like this fork in the road or this fork in the road. Which one are we going to take? And, I understand too, because I am so consumed by both worlds of wanting to be organic, wanting to be authentic, and then also, being flooded with AI and the accessibility and this enhancement. So it's like, how do you see both, but see it in a way that's not going to take away from your evolution and then use it as a tool? I don't know. There's just so much aspects to it of each layer, and I feel like we're all kind of all in it right now, like navigating what that really truly feels and how it lands in our body. And so I honor all of you for navigating it within yourselves as well. I think us having our kupuna to looking back in ancient times and really seeing how they worked with the land, they worked with the kino, they worked with consciousness, and we remember our ancient past so that we can bring it into this lifetime, knowing that the future is upon us, but also remembering that there's codes and there's memories that have been laid out as a foundation for us to remember. And what brother says, like, you can just say the tones in your head to invoke these things. So even if the evolution is the separation, you can still honor it with integrity through your aloha ma and your remembrance. And so yeah, taking it step by step. And thank you, brother, for forging, just the inquiry of thought, because sometimes it's so easy to just keep trailing on into this movement of transhumanism, but not knowing what the potential is in the long run. So it's coming back to the center and our core and our pu'uvai of what lands and what feels good, but also being able to be true to what we're being activated by. I love how the pancreas is that insulin, right? It's like tasting the sweetness of life. And when we eat too much and we consume and it's overindulgence, then we have to be synthetic and inject with insulin and do things that are not organic to sustain the body to find its center. So I understand how the mutation, right? When we are not in our domain and we over excess or overindulge, it can alter things. So there has to be an energetic balance no matter what we do, so that we're not reliant on something else to bring us back to the organic. So that's kind of what I've been processing, but it's a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much, sis, for bringing in the insulin with the pancreas and the sweetness of life. Yeah, it's like I feel like it's uhane, it's patriarchy that everything is burdensome. I'm overwhelmed, I'm overstimulated by everything. And it's the goddess that, remember, in Hina, in Hawaiian culture, Hina is the moon goddess. She has one thing that she tells us over and over again. She says, remember to enjoy. Above all else, remember to enjoy. And so the sweetness that you're talking about with the pancreas, yeah. And I love that it's just touching the thoracic vertebrae, right? And it's like the message of the feminine is saying, remember, enjoy. Let's have fun. It's not burdensome, this thing called life. My kupuna would say, if you wake up and you look around, you think this is a burden, go back to sleep, try again. It's like I gotta, okay, I'll wake up, I'm like, I'm smiling. So, I hope this gives everyone some added flavor as to what exactly is happening when we're honoring the Hoi within the Unihipili. In a couple weeks, we'll do a same conversation, a same breakdown with exactly what's happening with Uhane, with t. But for now, I would encourage everyone for the next couple weeks to just allow yourself to come into relationship with that. Try it laying down. Try it standing up. Try it sitting up. You know, I will share that. I don't know. Maybe this is me being like overly concerned or something, but don't do it when you're driving because because the hoi in itself can actually take people into what we say akaku or kulana or trance. You might find yourself in trance, so not good driving. So not when you're driving, not when you're on a cliff, stuff like that. When you're in a space, a compatible space for you to begin to explore. Because like Jenny was sharing too, you know, it's like sometimes even when we're exploring and we're just practicing, we might go into trance, and that's how powerful it can be. Know this about trance, and I love to remind everyone, especially when we go into our long durations of ulu where trance is a lot more likely, is that you're always at the helm. You are never not at the helm of your experience. And so when you're in trance, it's not like you're lost. Don't fall into that lie. You're always at the helm. If it becomes something that is frightening to you, then allow yourself and consent yourself to come back into your perception of general reality. Always know that you're at the helm, okay? So it doesn't need to be a frightening experience. Um, I want to play some music and do like maybe 5 minutes, okay? Just 5 minutes of everyone independently playing with the hoi for Unihipili, specifically for Unihipili, okay? And like I shared, you can do it laying down, you can do it sitting up, maybe you want to stand up, but just come into relationship with that. And remember, we're invigorating that coccyx sacral lumbar in addition to those gonads and the pancreas, okay, the glands as well. So know that there's a lot that may happen when we invigorate the hoi for Unihipili, but just allow yourself to explore what that's like for you. Okay, how does that sound, everyone? Great, let's do this. All right, I'm going to play some music. Let me share my sound, you guys. And then the invitation is for you to just go into your own kind of like dance with it. It'll be about maybe like 5 minutes, and then we'll reassemble, and then we'll complete for today. But I really want us to also be conscious that we're all honoring this simultaneously together. There's 157 of us. It's just like, wow, what a great way to honor the goddess right now. And so know that we're all connected, right, in this grid, honoring the goddess. Like, wow, what an amazing contribution. Thank you so much, everyone. And so, in honor of the goddess, in honor of fertility, in honor of the perpetuation of lineage and legacy, let us all honor the hoi of Unihipili. I love you completely. Aloha ma. Mahalo. Just enjoying whatever you're experiencing right now with the invigoration of the goddess, coccyx, sacral, lumbar. Also, in awareness and availability for whatever wants to present itself in the invigoration of the goddess. It's not always pleasant, but it's always true. More availability for truth, I say, is one of the greatest medicines for us right now. Authenticity is that to which truly measures our exaltation and transfiguration, you guys. It's based on authenticity. So, more availability for truth, and specifically your truth. I know there's truth all over the place. So many of us, it's called contrast. We don't need to succumb. Unity consciousness is not about assimilation. Being available for your truth and the availability to express that truth could be fun if you want to. If you want to. It's not necessary. Remember, you are at the helm, always and always. As long as your goddess is present, you will be informed properly. The goddess needs to be present. Uhane, masculine, logical, analytical, rational, linear. Absolutely, it loves instructions. If I'm not receiving the instructions of my goddess, I am reaching to the exterior conditions for instructions. That's called assimilation and subordination. In the absence of the goddess. So as we invigorate, we bring to life our goddess, the oracle is reinstated. And everything that occurs when an oracle is reinstated, you will have access. You will have access. Mahalo. Thank you so much. I want to invite everyone to continue to enjoy this, coming into relationship with, and then we rise to the occasion of Uhane and come into t. I'm going to tell you right now, Uhane, it's going to mean nothing if you don't know. You're just going to follow whatever you're being told with the Uhane. Let's stop that. It's done. Assimilation, subordination is done. Come back into the instruction of your goddess. There's a 5th star lineage called Lyra. Keoi Umak. We are in the time of the 5th star lineage, which means we're in the time of the 5th direction. So remember the directions, right? It's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. What about here? That's the 5th direction. We've done a circumnavigation of what it means to be in a contrasting world of form and material. The 5th lineage is all about assembly. We come back into the assembly of the self. The 5th direction is the very center of who and what you are. The heart is ultimately the vortex. The vortex is a sudden, spontaneous black hole technology. That is the path of transfiguration. We come back into the vortex of the heart.
Mahalo for welcoming that space. For me, I feel like what's just coming up is, when you said you could lie down, I was like, oh, lying down feels real good. I'm gonna go do that. So I lied down and as I was saying the hoy, I could feel it literally vibrating within my solar plexus, within the pancreas. And I was like, wow, it's really touching those areas. And then I was allowing my mind to kind of allow what was coming up for me. And what came up for me is like, in the density that we feel that is coming up to be revealed is only there to be alchemized. And through that alchemization, we can make it playful. So whenever I go through these deep, dark places of scarcity, unworthiness, fear, I switch it. I huli ho'i, and I'm like, wow, in this physical time, in this physical body, I get to master this aspect of myself that I haven't mastered before. Look at the opportunities and the resources that I have around me and the people that can reflect this back to me. Now I get to communicate my wants and my needs to the universe and watch how it appears as I take inspired action for it to come back to me, through me, and from me. And so it's beautiful because it's giving us opportunities to shine. When you talked about the 5, I was born on a 5. It's the 5-pointed star. And in the center, it's that hookah, right? And it's the corazon, it's the plane of inertia, and we are that, the heart center. We everything comes through the pu'uvai to be felt, to be alchemized, and then we feel it throughout our whole entire kino. And so let us radiate from our heart. Let us magnetize the things that is meant for us, and let's make everything juicy and orgasmic and friendly, because that's what life is supposed to be. We're supposed to experience the sweetness and the nectar of life. Sometimes I get so bottled down, like, oh, am I being authentic? And is this right or this wrong? There is no right or wrong. Like who brother says, it's only authenticity. Are you honoring your fuck yeses? And that's where I'm gonna leave it. Drop the mic. Mahalo Keokua and mahalo brother for allowing us these spaces to share. Aloha ma.
Yeah, channeling the goddess. Love you, sis. Mahalo, mahalo. That does seem, yeah, to be like a theme. I even saw Mira, I think you said about enjoyment. Yeah, it seems to be like the theme. Is a remembrance and an invitation for us to enjoy more. And I feel like that may be a really fun way for all of us to tune out, is if we unmute ourselves and repeat over and over and over again, I will enjoy. I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will
I will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will
Will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I
I
will
will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Enjoy.
Will enjoy.
I
Enjoy.
will enjoy.
Will.
I
Enjoy.
will
Will
enjoy.
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 Will
I will
enjoy.
enjoy.
Will
Enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Will
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
I
Will
will
enjoy.
enjoy.
Yeah. Will. I will
I will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will
I'm
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I
I
will enjoy.
Will
will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Will.
I will enjoy.
I will
Enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I am
Will
I will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will.
I will enjoy.
enjoy.
I
I
I
will
will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I'm enjoy.
I
Enjoy.
will enjoy.
Will
I am
enjoy.
enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Am enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Am enjoy.
I will enjoy. I will enjoy.
Enjoy. Am enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I am enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will
Enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will
I
enjoy.
am
I
enjoy.
will enjoy.
I will
I
enjoy.
will enjoy.
Am enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Am enjoy.
I will enjoy.
Will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will enjoy.
I will
Will
enjoy.
enjoy.
I love you completely. Aloha ma.
Aloha ma.
Aloha ma.
Ma.
Aloha.
Aloha ma.